It's been 12 hours since I witnessed one of, if not the, greatest heel turns in WWE history, if not professional wrestling history, when John Cena sold his soul to the final boss, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and turned heel for the first time in over 20 years, 2 decades, in front of 38,000 live in Toronto at the Elimination Chamber. Something we thought would never happen and even could never happen. We put that barrier in our heads. This could never happen. It would destroy the wrestling industry. It would end the WWE. This man is a beacon. He's a symbol. Kids look up to him. Generations aspire to be like him. You could never make him a villain. It would end everything as we know it. I hate that. I hate when we put those barriers in our minds. It just makes wrestling so boring and so unfun. Do you know how long I've been waiting for this? I remember the first time fans booed this version of John Cena in 2005 in a feud with Kurt Angle. And it got really bad in 2006. I remember when the fans first turned on John Cena. Now, when he was the heel that we loved, the Doctor of Thugonomics in 2003, so popular, so good at what he did. The raps were on point. They were forced to turn him babyface. But ever since 2004, he's been a babyface. No other heel turns. That's 21 years. 21 years of being a babyface. Outside of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, maybe even Bruno Sammartino, I don't know anyone else that's been a babyface that long. Rey Mysterio turned heel. Jesus Christ. I don't know. The last time Rey was a heel was 1999, I believe. 2000. Very few names have had as long of a babyface run as John Cena has. And what I love about this heel turn that they did, it wasn't just one of those things where, oh my God, it's something we've always wanted. It made perfect sense to the story of John Cena, the character. If you look at what the WWE has done with him, we can sit here all day and pretend everyone loved him. Everybody liked him. Nobody hated him. No, that's not true. That's just not factual whatsoever. This man was hated. You can say 50-50 Bizarro World. No. Let's go Cena. Cena sucks. There were times when the entire city, the entire arena was booing him. CM Punk, John Cena, Money in the Bank 2011, for example. WrestleMania 28, Rock versus Cena, for example. Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, SummerSlam 2013, for example. The crowd was never always on his side. And I know that WWE wants to paint this picture of this perfect white knight, when in reality, he was the very definition of a corporate champion. He was given that championship so many times because of him being who he is. Because we created that barrier in our heads that no one else could have the spot but him. The business will die if he leaves. Not only did the business not die, it grew. It actually got better without him. So when you think about how much the business has come along since he stopped being a full-time wrestler, and you see that John Cena hasn't won a match in over 3,000 days, except the one he won yesterday for the Elimination Chamber. When you think about the story that they're telling, this is the perfect final arc for his character. And I see people online saying, it makes no sense to turn John Cena heel on his final run. Why would you do that? This is the last time people will ever see him. Don't you want them to remember him as the good guy? Guys, number one, John Cena is a TV character. First off, TV characters have arcs. Not all TV characters get to have a happy ending arc. Some have tragic endings. That's how storytelling works. And to all of you thinking this is going to hurt WWE, we've reached a point where we don't need John Cena to be a babyface anymore. Maybe in 2015 and before then, you can make that argument. But now, you got Cody Rhodes, you got Jey Uso, you got Roman Reigns, and many others. That's just the three off the top of my head, who, in my opinion, fill those shoes even better than John Cena ever did. Because it's been a while since the crowd was fully behind Cena. I think recently they've been that way because of nostalgia. But as a full-time wrestler, the last time fans were fully behind Cena was 2004, 2003. He's had split reactions since 2005. Consistently. I don't care what kind of whitewashing the WWE wants to do. Half the audience, at the very least half the audience, has hated this guy. And there were times the entire audience hated him. Play that into the story. Think about how that ties into what we're getting here now. Because the reality is, John Cena is the very definition of a corporate figure. When he cut that promo in the Elimination Chamber press conference, I must win number 17. I have to win number 17 because it's best for business. There it is. It is the final arc of ultimately one of the best villains in wrestling history. And I love that Triple H and whoever's doing creative is just bringing it to the forefront now. He's the corporate champion that The Rock chose because he's been a corporate champion. And Cody Rhodes finally gets to be seen as the people's champion. Pun intended, but you'll get where I'm going with this. The whole thing is, everyone can believe Cena being the corporate champion because that's what he's always been. And when you see him come out and cut that promo, that first promo that he cuts, he hasn't even cut his first promo yet. But you know it's going to be great. You have an idea what he's going to say. You know he's going to say, it's for your own good. You've been doing this to me for 2 decades. I'm used to it. And when you did it to me, I still loved you. I'm still here for you. I'm going to help WWE. And he's going to spew this bullshit when in reality, he's doing it for himself. John Cena is in his 40s. He's pushing 50. He's not the same as he once was 10 years ago. His time is up. It's someone else's time now. And he's hiding behind, he's masquerading that for it's good for business. You see him come out in a suit. You see him change his gear. He's not going to be the same Cena anymore. He realizes that hustle, loyalty, respect doesn't get him anywhere. So he has to masquerade it now. This is the perfect final run for him. It's an old legend, an old man, a guy that was on top, grasping on to whatever glory he has left, knowing that generations have come and surpassed him. I don't see how anybody could want a better ending for John Cena, for his character. And yes, I do think he should win the WWE Championship. Break the record. Become Mr. Number 17. Honestly, the record that WWE has is not even the real record. Ric Flair has won 21 world titles, not 17. For some reason, they don't count 4 of them, or 5 of them. But yeah, congratulations, John Cena. You'll break the WWE official record. And he should. And I think this final run as a heel champion will help me see what everyone's been saying. Because everyone has been saying for the longest time, man, John Cena is one of the greatest of all time, if not the greatest of all time, right? I've always thought John Cena was one of the greatest of all time. He's just never been in my top 10. This is going to put him in my top 10. If done right, and it will be done right. I have all the confidence in the world. This is exactly what John Cena wanted to do. When he signed on for one last run, 36 dates, when he announced his retirement, I was the only one, and I'll proudly say that came up here and said it should be as a heel. Everyone else dismissed it. Rightfully so. I get it. They told themselves it shouldn't happen, it wouldn't happen, it couldn't happen. It's impossible. Because that's what the business told them. I unfortunately don't follow the business standards. I think outside the box and I go, what would be the craziest thing that could happen? Because that's the era I grew up in. I was blessed to grow up in the Attitude Era, the 90s, where anything that could happen fucking happened. There was no line that Vince, the WWE Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Attitude Era was scared to cross. Every line they saw, they crossed it. Good or bad, they crossed it. That's the era I grew up in. And that's when wrestling was the most fun. When we didn't put barriers on the product, on characters. And I love that Triple H is taking us back to that. This is one of those things that will separate Triple H from Vince McMahon. Because Vince McMahon would have never, and I mean never done this. He had an opportunity to do this in 2012. But he got cold feet. They were going to turn Cena heel after he lost to The Rock at WrestleMania 28. He was going to have a heel run, a full heel run that would have led to him fighting Rock again for WrestleMania 29 and then losing the belt to Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam. Imagine that being a heel run. It was a heel run. Not officially, but it was a heel run. In my personal opinion. I see it as a heel run. To me, John Cena was a heel from 2009 until, I guess, the United States Championship run, where I actually started to respect what he was doing. So, 6 years of being a heel, in my mind. Not officially, but he should have been. But, like, you think back to all those times where they told you you had to accept him as a babyface. And if you didn't, you're not a real wrestling fan. You don't love the business. Remember that. They told us that. I remember the interviews. Oh, if you love the business, you'll want John Cena as a babyface. It's good for merchandise sales. It sells out arenas. That's not fun, y'all. If the story calls for it, turning Cena heel would have done more numbers for Vince than him as a babyface. Okay, the merchandise sales would have taken a hit, but you make up for it by creating baby faces that become the new Hogans, the new Austins, the new Rocks, the new Cenas, the new Bruno Sammartinos, and blah, 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 blah. The new Cody Rhodes. And turning John Cena heel, you now create an opportunity to create new baby faces. Triple H understands that because he's currently in the process of creating new baby faces, creating new stars. Keep this in mind. Vince McMahon has been out of WWE for a little bit over a year now. He left in 2024, the beginning of 2024. It's been Triple H's baby, Triple H's company, since then. Well, technically The Rock's and Nick Khan's and Triple H's company, but still, Triple H is the head of creative. It's been his WWE for at least a year, a little bit more. It takes 5 years to establish an NFL franchise, and I think the same way about a wrestling company. It takes them at least 5 years to get their roster together. And currently, the WWE is still in that building stage. They still need to create heels, babyfaces, long-term characters that are going to make people want to spend money. Long-term stories. John Cena as a heel is going to help facilitate that beyond measure. On his last run, Why would anyone be against this? Listen, y'all, I know you grew up with John Cena as a kid. I get that. But half of you are in your 20s, 30s now, 40s. You'll be okay. The kids that are watching, they love Cody now. They love Jey Uso now. They love Roman Reigns now. And many others. They don't love Cena. You love Cena. I like Cena. I respect Cena. I might end up loving Cena after this run. But just because you love him doesn't mean that everybody else has to believe he's the greatest of all time. You created this barrier in your head that he could never turn heel. And I think ultimately that hurt him. It hurt him. You don't want to admit it, but it did. But see, now he gets to rectify that. I have a theory that this is something that John Cena has wanted to do for decades. I guarantee you, when they first started booing him, I promise you, he wanted to turn heel immediately. Where we get to hear him talk about it, and he comes out and says, yeah, I've been wanting to do this for the longest time. I came back to do just this. He came back to do just this. I guarantee you. The only reason why he's doing this last run is to really cap off his career, give that perfect storybook ending, and have a run that he's been meaning to have. And we're going to see him talk about a lot of things. A lot of that anger and rage that he's had towards fans that we know about, it's coming out during this run. And I cannot wait for that first promo. And I cannot wait for that first match against Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania with him as a heel. And he will win that championship. He better win that championship. Otherwise, what's the point of doing all this? He better win that championship. And that run's going to be legendary. And what I love about this too, and no one's talking about this, like, you do realize, with Cena joining The Rock, Cody needs a partner. Because he's outnumbered. Again. Back in September, Roman Reigns got attacked by his own bloodline. His own bloodline attacked Roman Reigns, and rightfully so, no one helped him. Rightfully so. Who helped him? Cody Rhodes. Well, guess what? No one came out to help Cody. No one. He's by himself. Who will come to his rescue? I think Roman Reigns owes him a favor. Roman helps Cody. Cody gets Cena. Roman gets Rock. You couldn't tell a better story than this. Imagine those two matches at WrestleMania. I don't know what the WrestleMania card is going to be, but you know we got to get Rock and Roman eventually, whether it's this year or next year. It's got to happen. But this entire heel turn, you couldn't have done it better. It took 20 years for us to get here. Should it happen 10 years ago? Well, actually, 13 years ago to be exact. 2012 is when it should have happened. It was going to happen. Should have happened a long ass time ago to be exact. But I'm glad it happened here. I'm glad we're finally getting it. The buzz that the WWE has already had, it's about to blow up even more. You have no idea what this is going to do. The amount of publicity, buzz that the company is going to work with going into WrestleMania 41, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't fathom it. And I am here for it. We were worried about the build to WrestleMania 41. We were sitting here like, what are they going to do? I have no idea where any of this is going. They kept it close to the vest on purpose. The Rock came out talking about taking Cody's soul. What? At the end of the day, it all led to something. These guys are masters at their craft. They know more than we do. They know what we want. They got us. We just need to understand that just because it didn't happen how we want it to happen doesn't mean that it's bad. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop fantasy booking certain events, certain moments in our head, and then getting mad when it doesn't go exactly how we want it to go. We're not children. That is childish. Grow up. Be an adult. We still got it. And it's amazing. Legendary. This is this generation's Hogan heel turn, Bash at the Beach, 1996. When Hogan joined the NWO. That changed the industry. What Cena did here changed the industry for the better on his final run. The perfect final arc for one of the greatest of all time. And it's going to be amazing. I got no complaints. I just wanted to talk about it. And I hope you watched this entire video. If you did, leave your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Do all the YouTube things. Like the video, subscribe, and click that bell to catch all my content when it comes out. Follow me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and donate using PayPal, Patreon, Cashapp, and Venmo. I love you all. And I'll catch you guys next time right here in Alyx's World. The place that is, was, and forever will be a safe space for wrestling fans like you. I'm out of here. Peace.